Welcome to the Beyond Bravo podcast, a look into the flight simulation community, add-ons, new tech, industry trends, and community news. Here are your guests, Tinsel and Jessica Gerson.
Flight simulation has grown from pixelated screens in basements to a $2.4 billion industry that's reshaping how real pilots train. But here's what's fascinating. The community behind it is now directing the future of North America's biggest flight sim convention.
That's such an interesting shift in how these events are being organized. The Flight Simulation Association is actually letting attendees help choose the location and dates for their 2026 Expo.
Well, you know what's really telling about this approach? They've already got 3 potential venues that came directly from Discord messages and attendee feedback. It's like crowdsourcing an entire convention.
And they're building on quite a track record, too. I mean, they've successfully hosted these expos in some pretty impressive locations: Las Vegas, Chicago, San Diego, each bringing something unique to the table.
Speaking of locations, their 2025 event is already locked in at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence. But here's what's really interesting. They're planning 2 years ahead now because these events have become so technically complex.
The technical requirements must be incredible. What kind of infrastructure do you need for all those simulators running simultaneously?
Well, we're talking about massive power requirements, specialized internet bandwidth, and spaces that can handle everything from full-motion simulators to VR setups. It's like building a temporary flight school in a convention center.
That's exactly why the venue selection is so crucial. You need somewhere that can handle all that technical complexity while still being accessible to thousands of attendees.
And accessibility is becoming increasingly important as the community grows. Recent data shows flight sim users have increased by 300% since 2019. They're not just hobbyists anymore. We're seeing professional pilots, aerospace engineers, and aviation students all coming together.
Oh, wow. That growth really puts their planning process in perspective. They need venues that can accommodate such diverse needs.
Right? And get this? They're not just looking at traditional convention metrics like square footage and hotel rooms. They're considering things like proximity to actual airports, because many attendees are both sim pilots and real pilots who might fly themselves in.
The whole approach seems to be evolving into something much more comprehensive than just a typical convention.
Exactly. And here's what's fascinating about their educational component. They're incorporating real-world aviation principles into their programming. Last year's Expo featured over 20 different workshops on everything from weather patterns to advanced navigation techniques.
That's really transforming these events from pure entertainment into valuable training opportunities.
And the technology keeps pushing boundaries. The latest flight sims can recreate nearly every airport in the world, with real-time weather data and accurate air traffic patterns. These expos have become showcases for some seriously advanced technology.
Well, that certainly explains why they need such extensive planning time for 2026. The technology might be completely different by then.
You know what's really going to be interesting to watch? How they balance the high-end technical demonstrations with making the event accessible to newcomers. The latest VR setups can cost upwards of $3,000, but they need to keep the event relevant for people just starting out too.
That's such an important point about inclusivity. How are they addressing that challenge?
Well, based on previous expos, they're creating different tracks for different experience levels. Think of it like parallel conferences. One path for advanced users looking at cutting-edge tech, another for beginners learning the basics, and plenty of crossover opportunities for everyone to mix and learn from each other.
The community aspect really seems to be at the heart of everything they're doing.
Absolutely right. And that's why this survey for 2026 is so significant. They're not just planning an event, they're building a framework for how the flight simulation community will evolve over the next few years. It's pretty remarkable when you think about it.
Looking ahead, what do you think this means for the future of flight simulation as a whole?
Well, I think we're seeing the emergence of something really unique, a hobby that's becoming a serious educational tool, a professional development platform, and a community hub all at once. And these expos are where all those elements come together in real time.
That's such a thoughtful way to look at the bigger picture here.
And you know what? As we wrap up, I think that's really the key takeaway. This isn't just about planning a convention anymore. It's about creating a space where virtual aviation can have real-world impact, and everyone has a voice in shaping that future.
Thanks for listening to Beyond Bravo. For more information about the podcast or to submit your topic ideas, visit our website at bravo737.com/beyondbravo.